In this video,
His last minute flurry.
we look back at the fighter that many people believe is the best fighter of all time, Sugar Ray Robinson.
Pound for pound, I still say Sugar Ray Robinson was the greatest of all time.
And a tremendous left hook there from Robinson, and Wilson's down on his back again.
Robinson was virtually unbeatable in his natural welterweight division.
Sugar Ray, sharpest shooting puncher of the modern ring.
In his prime, he was the ultimate fighting machine.
Once again, beautiful speed of punch here.
His movement and balance are just picture perfect. He really had it all.
Dempsey, one of the hardest punchers of all time, has seen every great fighter from the roaring 20s to the present. At 83, Jack declares that Ray Robinson, pound for pound, is the greatest combination puncher he has ever seen.
He could fight at any range and had knockout power in either hand.
And there goes his mouthpiece, and Graziano hits the canvas. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ray Robinson retains the middleweight championship of the world.
There are absolutely no holes in his game.
A terrific defensive work from Robinson.
Oh, I saw him at his best, and he was the best fighter ever lived, pound for pound.
Unfortunately, a lot of footage from his actual prime was lost. However, in this video, we will look back at the footage that actually does exist from Robinson's prime, and we'll also look at the rest of his career. Robinson was so talented that he achieved a great deal in boxing after his prime years were even over.
Well, Sugar Ray Robinson, I have seen several times, and he's about the best boxer I ever seen. He was everything.
Usari must be careful in there. He knows Robinson carries dynamite in both hands.
In this fight, Robinson's fast combinations just completely outclassed his opponent. Robinson's punches have tremendous snap on them. Notice the body work. Robinson was a dedicated body puncher.
Is announced, it's no surprise. Sugar Ray Robinson retains his crown with a unanimous decision over game Charlotte Usari.
In his career, Robinson has fought 120 fights. Tremendous punches that are landing in there that have tremendous snap.
Watch Robinson counter with a body shot here and then effortlessly avoid the follow-up punches of the opponent. Robinson always looks like he has many more levels to go to if he needs to. In this sequence, he avoids punches and then does a bit of showboating.
Oh, Ray Robinson was kidding as if he were telling Bobby, I'm being knocked out.
Ray is great at parrying, slipping and rolling with shots. Notice that no punches landed there. Notice that Robinson is very light on his feet.
Fourth round. Sends him groggy against the ropes.
That was a really nice 1-2 off the back foot by Robinson. He starts to enjoy himself now and does a bit more showboating.
Sugar Ray Robinson.
The crowd is booing Robinson, and that seems to make him showboat even more.
Robinson was in a breeze and working out well. And finally, when he almost knocked the boy out in the 10th and final round, actually disdained to do so. And it was quite apparent to those here at the ringside.
The winner, Ray Robinson, is the winner.
To me, in his time, and even today, the pound for pound, when they say Sugar Ray Robinson was the greatest fighter pound for pound, meaning that I imagine if he was a heavyweight fighting the same style, he'd be the greatest. I would have to admit, I would have to say yes. I have his fight films. I've watched the films. You have them. That man was beautiful. Timing, speed, reflexes, rhythm, his body, everything was beautiful. And to me, still, I would say pound for pound. I say I'm the greatest heavyweight of all times, but pound for pound, I still say Sugar Ray Robinson was the greatest of all times. All records are broken. Babe Ruth's record got broken. Jesse Owens, all kind of records are broken. But I want to see somebody beat Sugar Ray's record. Nobody yet has beat his record.
Robinson took on Frenchman Gene Stock next. 20,000 fans turned up in Paris to watch the fight. Robinson dishes out some brutal punishments in this one. We already saw Stock bothered by some body shots there. A sharp counter left hook followed by a blistering combination from all angles puts Stock down. There's not much you can do when a guy can just open up like that and hit you from every angle. Robinson looks like an assassin in the corner while he waits for Stock to get up. A lead right to the body has Stock in severe pain on the canvas. This next combination is really frightening stuff. The precision on the left hooks is a sight to behold. Prime Robinson is just scary. The towel gets thrown in, and thank God for that, because I think Robinson might have seriously harmed the opponent. In the year 1950, on Christmas night in Frankfurt, Germany, Robinson fought Hans Stretz. Robinson's trademark lead left hook was on display. And Stretch showed some heart to get up and continue fighting. But it was futile. Robinson easily finished him off with another left hook after a right hand on the ropes.
Once again, Sugar, who's surely the boxer of the year, won by a knockout. It was the last victory of his present all-conquering tour in Europe.
And Hans Stretz is dispensed with in Frankfurt.
He's a great gentleman. I saw some of the punch that shoot at a guy, and it's pretty quick. And he was the type of guy that, would dance around, move around. He was real flashy. And knowing the guy in real life, as a person while now he's retired, I think he's a swell guy. He's really a great guy,
The world's welterweight boxing champion, Sugar Ray Robinson. The world's middleweight boxing champion, Jake LaMotta. The referee, Frank Sakura.
The present middleweight champion of the world, Jake LaMotta. The present welterweight champion of the world, Sugar Ray Robinson, the challenger for the middleweight championship.
LaMotta was the naturally bigger man. He tried to rough Robinson up early.
It's the fight of the year.
From the outset, it was clear that Robinson's slick movement and lightning combinations were going to be too much. Robinson was giving up natural size and strength in the fight. Even though he's not in his prime, Robinson's hands are very fast, especially when he doubles up his left hook. A brutal uppercut went in there from Robinson. Once again, you really notice his blistering hand speed when he lets his punches go like that.
2 minutes to go. That straight right rocked LaMotta.
Notice Robinson throwing hooks as he's gliding forward. It's very hard to have the correct balance to throw power punches while your feet are in motion. Robinson lands a beautiful counter uppercut.
Some of those short shots by Robinson would rock a truck, but they don't seem to move LaMotta.
Robinson has him timed now, though. Another perfectly timed right hand rocks LaMotta, but he had an iron chin.
Jake LaMotta gives indications of being a bit weary from the pounding. But of course, don't let that fool you.
I thought that Robinson's body punching was excellent in this fight. Notice this hard lead right body shot by Robinson.
Robinson was hurting Lamotta. He's hurting him now.
At the end of the 11th round, Robinson opened up with a blistering combination.
He has Lamotta on Queer Street, holding on. There's a bell, ending round number 11.
Nice long jabs by Robinson set up a right here.
Two minutes to go of the 12th round. He winces when he's hit now. The crowd senses the kill. Lamotta is completely on Queer Street. He's fighting now. Cautiously.
Fine uppercut there by Robinson. It's turned into target practice for Sugar Ray at this point. But Robinson doesn't let up. A thunderous uppercut goes in here.
No man can endure this pummeling. Row after row after row. From the ring, the crowd is standing and cheering.
These guys were warriors.
These are clean whistling shots, lefts and rights. How he can survive them, nobody knows. Head shake at the ringside.
The referee finally stops the beatdown.
The signal from the chairman of the Illinois Athletic Commission, Joe China, to Frankie Sikora. The fight was stopped in the 13th round.
And the new world middleweight boxing champion, Sugar Ray Robinson.
Now excuse me while I get in the ring.
Yes, how was to fight Lamotta?
I always will remember. He was a very tough boy. You hit him with everything and he just would never go. He was very tough, very good, rough fighter.
Oh, Sugar Ray Robinson was a great boxer, great puncher, smart. He knew how to move. He knew how to counter. He did everything and did it well. Sugar Ray, I think, is one of the all-time greats. I think he'll go down in the history, along with the original Joe Walcott, as the greatest welterweight champion ever had.
I think pound for pound, he was the greatest of everyone that stepped in the ring. Ray Robinson was the best fighter that ever stepped in the ring because he could punch. And even now, when he used to back away from him, he could knock out with a left hook. I saw him knock out people with left hook. So generally, a fighter who backs away from someone can't hurt you. But Robinson, when he could hurt you, backing away from him, same as coming in and tell you. Oh, I saw him at his best, and he was the best fighter that ever lived, pound for pound.
Robinson traveled to Germany and seemed to catch Gerard Hecht with a kidney, which had Hecht dramatically rolling on the canvas. Robinson caught Hecht with some clubbing body shots in the next round, which put Hecht down. Once again, Hecht complained about kidney punches. The fight was stopped and Robinson needed a police escort to get out of the Germany arena safely. I thought Hecht made a meal out of the punches and knew he was outclassed, so put on a dramatic show. He basically quit in my book.
Here he is, getting ready for his first title defense of the middleweight title. There are the London reporters, including a young lady reporter on the left. And here is the challenger, Randolph Turpin. He is young. He's only 23 years old. He had only 46 fights, and he lost 2 out of the 46, but he reversed those 2 losses. Here he is in his training quarters in Wales, waving down to a fine holiday crowd. Everybody in
Randolph Turpin was 23 years old and a very big middleweight. Sugar Ray was having his 4th fight in 3 weeks and was coming to the end of his tour of Europe. He was coming into the fight with only 1 loss in 133 fights. The only man to beat him was subsequently beaten 4 times, and we saw him get knocked out earlier. Turpin was a heavily muscled guy and looked like a powerhouse as compared to Robinson. Turpin's punches had made much more of an impact in the first half of the fight, and I think Robinson struggled with his size and awkward style. I had Turpin winning the first 6 rounds of the fight. Notice Turpin clinching Robinson to stop him from getting his fast punches off inside. In the 7th round, Robinson started doing much better. I think it took a while for him to adjust to Turpin's style. I thought Turpin still made it close enough in the second half of the fight for him to keep his lead, and he did get the decision. Robinson was definitely flat in this fight, and I think he really underestimated Turpin.
Shortly after Ray's return, Randy Turpin arrives in New York to sign for a rematch to take place in September at the Polo Grounds. Robinson goes into training at Pompton Lakes. There's nothing that he wants more than to get back the middleweight title. Here's a dazzling display of rope skipping which the crowd loves.
I had a very nice time in Europe. Very sorry that I did not bring back the championship, but I promise you I'll do the best I can September the 12th to bring the middleweight championship back to America. I'm sure that the new champion will do the best he can to hold that championship for England a long time. But well, I think we both have the same idea. I kind of want to get it back here to America.
Robinson goes into training at Pompton Lakes. There's nothing that he wants more than to get back the middleweight title. Here's a dazzling display of rope skipping which the crowd loves.
The rematch happened 2 months later, and Sugar came into this fight wanting to prove that the first fight was a fluke. Notice Robinson's footwork here as he gets himself into position to land his right hand and buckles Turpin's leg. Robinson was much better in this fight. He picked his punches better. Notice Robinson's hand speed and variety, just ensuring that he gets the better of these exchanges. Notice Turpin trying to shoulder roll with punches. It's very dangerous to do this with someone who has the timing and hand speed of Robinson. Robinson's foot shifting again gets him into the perfect position to land his lead right hand, and Turpin is badly hurt. Robinson realizes he can get himself into position to land that punch and does it again. Sugar is known as one of the best finishers in boxing, and at this point in his career, he's got hundreds of fights under his belt. He has too much experience not to finish Turpin off here.
Now here in slow motion.
Robinson had avenged his defeat in emphatic fashion.
Robinson steadies him. 1, 2, the same spot.
I've seen some people say that there was a premature stoppage, but I don't agree.
And 3 again. A short right inside, a left hook, another right. Turpin is almost helpless. 1, 2. Now
Robinson connects clean with the last few punches, and Turpin threw nothing back for the entire sequence.
The winner and the new middleweight champion of the world, Sugar Ray Robinson. The middleweight champion of the world, Sugar Ray Robinson.
Robinson defended his middleweight crown against Bubba Olsen next.
And Sugar Ray Robinson, the consummate professional, the consummate boxer and puncher. And Robinson does everything so well. Such a beautiful box fighter. Once again, beautiful speed of punch here for Robinson. And to punch so fast with so much power makes him unique.
Notice this high-level defense from Robinson as Bobo misses every punch.
Once again, an example there of terrific defensive work for Robinson.
Robinson's hand speed was flashy as he threw his vaunted combinations at Olsen.
And And again, a terrific example there of Robinson's speed and power. And Olsen doing all he can to survive this. He's got such wonderful reflexes. He knows exactly where his punches are going, and of course where the opponents are coming from. Well, nice bit of work there again from Robinson.
I thought Robinson won every round of the fight and was in control throughout.
Bring out their applause here for these two men. It's been a good fight. And there it is, the final bell. Robinson, still the champion.
By unanimous decision, and still champion Robinson.
The fabled Manasseh mauler Jack Dempsey is here pulverizing Jess Willard to capture the heavyweight throne in 1919. Dempsey, one of the hardest punchers of all time, has seen every great fighter from the roaring 20s to the present. At 83, Jack declares that Ray Robinson, pound for pound, is the greatest combination puncher he has ever seen.
Robinson's next defense against Graziano was a classic war.
Robinson shows plenty of authority in his own right arm. And there you see a beautiful example of his combination punching.
Sugar's combination punching was on point. Notice Robinson making Graziano pay for overextending here, with two lightning-quick left hooks. But Graziano was willing to stand and counter him and was more than happy to get into exchanges. Graziano had thunderous power in his right hand, and he was a legit KO puncher at the weight, so he was more than willing to throw down and slug with Robinson.
There you see those flashing fists and that beautiful timing. But again, Robinson has to back up before Graziano.
I think Robinson gets a bit carried away here due to having much faster hands than Graziano, and he took a clean right hand there that made him back off. Robinson's favorite punch is the left hook, and he can just keep throwing that same punch with good power.
Robinson will start throwing punches first, gaining that split half second. Keep his man off balance, and to get in the blows that will eventually win for him.
Robinson's landing clean shots and goes in for the kill, but gets countered and dropped with a big swing from Graziano.
And Ray goes down. It's an official knockdown. But before the fight began, the Illinois Boxing Commission ruled that a man would not have to stay down for the mandatory...
It was a cuffing shot, but certainly a knockdown. Graziano was on the attack now, but Robinson was a master at setting up aggressive opponents, and I don't think words can express how beautiful this entire sequence is by Robinson.
Scored the first knockdown. And there goes his mouthpiece, and Graziano hits the canvas. 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ray Robinson retains the middleweight championship of the world.
Notice how Graziano needs to shake out his legs. The thing with Robinson is that he didn't really have any weaknesses. I can't think of a single thing that he couldn't do well.
He was the greatest scientific. He was a wonderful fighter, and he was a distant fighter. He was a half-distant fighter. He was an in-fighter. He was smart. He was thinking. He was back with head, and he was elegant, and it was wonderful to see to fight him. You know.
Robinson was 31 at this point and reigning as the middleweight king and the pound-for-pound king of boxing, despite being past his prime at this point and operating at a weight higher than his natural weight.
They meet at the center of the ring, and you can see that Robinson, in dark trunks, is almost as tall as Maxim.
Robinson gave up 16 pounds to light heavyweight champion Joey Maxim in his next fight as he attempted to become the light heavyweight champ. The temperature at ringside was 105 degrees Fahrenheit or 40 degrees Celsius. There was a massive heat wave going on in New York at this time.
The question tonight is, can the good little man beat the good big man? The experts say he can, for Robinson is the slight favorite. He has won the welterweight title, now holds middleweight honors, and is determined to join the charmed circle of Triple Crown winners.
I thought Robinson outboxed Maxim for most of the fight.
You can see that Robinson is effective at long range. His forte is speed and maneuverability.
Maxim was a good fighter whose main attributes were stamina, a solid jab, and a very good shin. I don't think Maxim was slow, but he certainly was a bit rigid in his movement, and he was mostly a 1-2 type of fighter who didn't have a good hook or uppercut. I thought the fight was following a predictable pattern. Robinson was outboxing Maxim off the back foot.
Toes, bouncing. Robinson, the master mover, the superb stylist, continues his boxing lesson. Robinson goes to work on Maxim's midsection. But Maxim seems unaffected, unhurt by that barrage of punches. You notice Maxim holds his guard well up. He's been taking some solid shots to the head, but evidently doesn't feel that Robinson has the power to hurt him in the body.
Robinson continued to land scoring punches while Maxim plodded forward. Maxim had a solid reputation for having good punch resistance. I personally rate his chin as granite.
Robinson became middleweight champion of the world by knocking out Jake Lamotta in 13 rounds back in 1951.
In the 7th round, I noticed Robinson becoming a bit more flat-footed. I thought he was still winning and outboxing Maxim though.
Here in round 7, we see the same pattern, but you notice that Robinson has slowed down the pace a bit. He's punching a little more flat-footed, but still moving, presenting an elusive target.
I think he might have been trying to pace himself due to the heat. Robinson lands some really sweet left hook counters here.
An overwhelming heat has slowed down referee Ruby Goldstein. The little hop that Ruby always takes when he makes a turn in the ring is gone.
The way the cigarette smoke rises in the background here tells us how hot and humid it is. I thought Robinson appeared to be tiring in the 10th round here.
And so we see another telltale sign that the lighter man is feeling the heat and the pace. But he is far in front on the scorecards of the 3 officials and on the cards of the majority of the newspaper men covering the fight.
Before the 11th round, the referee had to be replaced because top referee Ruby Goldstein was suffering from heat exhaustion. I don't remember this ever happening before or since.
Ruby is so groggy he has to be helped from the ring by Dr. Alexander Schiff and led to a dressing room. Ruby's through for the evening. Ray Miller, the new referee, as we begin round 11.
Robinson put in a big effort in the 11th round.
Robinson, a right to the head, then firing to the body. Somehow, after a poor 10th round, Robinson has tapped a hidden reservoir of stamina to become again the aggressor. He's exerting tremendous effort, as you can see. They fought after the bell then, and they touched gloves. The Sugar Man is losing his bounce. Robinson is not punching as often or landing as accurately as before. We see all the signs of creeping exhaustion in Sugar Ray Robinson. You wonder why and how Maxim, who has suffered the most punishment in this fight, can continue to plod forward. Robinson's really tired. For the most part, the sting has gone out of his punches. A left hook staggers Robinson. Ray misses a right by a wide margin.
In the 13th round, Robinson is so tired and exhausted from the heat that he starts falling apart.
Robinson misses a right, slips, and falls flat on his face.
Notice Robinson's face hits the canvas hard. He was absolutely out on his feet at this point.
Watch him now. His legs are rubbery. He's standing flat on his feet. Maxim senses it and begins crowding more furiously than ever in his first real show of aggressiveness.
Robinson was just exhausted. I had him winning almost every round of the fight up to this point. I think that the heat got to Sugar before he knew he was in danger of being dehydrated and fatigued.
The end of the round, but they don't hear the bell. Referee Ray Miller separates them. Half unconscious, Robinson reels to his corner, aided by handlers Harry Watt, Dr. Alexander Schiff in Robinson's corner. peering into the fighter's eyes for signs of shock or concussion. According to the rules of the New York State Athletic Commission, Maxim is awarded a technical knockout if Robinson's unable to answer the bell for the 14th round. It's all over. Joey Maxim retains the title, light heavyweight champion of the world.
Despite losing, I think he proved he was still the better fighter.
Joining the ring's charmed circle of Triple Crown winners, Robinson was stopped for the first time in his career. As things turned out, and as Ray planned it, in fact, this was to be his last fight. The
heat was very hot that night, and the referee passed out in the 10th round, and I passed out in the 13th round.
But why did you faint for heat? Yes, I know, but why didn't Maxim faint for heat?
I don't know why he didn't, because the referee did first.
Yeah.
The referee fainted in the 10th round. And then after that, at the end of the 13th round, I collapsed. I was incoherent, incoherent, not, and all night long. And when I became to myself, I announced my retirement. I quit boxing then. That was when I quit.
At this point, Robinson gave up his middleweight title and retired.
I've gone into show business because dancing is something I've always loved. A lot of my fans are wondering in regards to my intentions of boxing again. As yet, I have not made up my mind.
He had a record of 131 wins and 3 losses at this point. He'd avenged the losses to Lamotta and Turpin, and against Maxim, he appeared to be well on his way to winning if not for the heat. Robinson was already considered the greatest of all time and began a career in show business, singing and tap dancing. After about 3 years, the decline of his business and the lack of success in his performing career made him decide to return to boxing. Robinson himself claimed that he was returning to the ring because his desire came back.
When a fighter makes a return to the ring, that he's broke, desperately in need of finances, well, that's somewhat true. I need a buck as well as anyone else, I guess. But this was definitely not the reason that I made this comeback attempt. While enjoying a very successful engagement in Paris at one of the better theaters there, in show business that is, I got the urge that I wanted to fight again. We couldn't come to camp and just find out what kind of condition we could get in, but mainly we wanted to find out if I could react right on that at the right moment. And my legs and arms and my sight, everything worked together. My coordination was still in my possession. And we did. We came to camp, and then we announced the comeback.
In his fight against Tiger Jones, Robinson was able to provide some moments of magic, but it was clear that Robinson was not the Robinson of old.
Jones is scoring repeatedly.
He pushes his jabs instead of snapping it out. His right hand seems nowhere near the same punch it had before, and his hook was notable by its absence.
As Jack Drees remarked, it's toward the end of the round that Sugar Ray seems to run out of gas.
His defense was also leaky, but one thing about Sugar, his chin was rock solid.
That was more of a slip on the part of Sugar Ray.
Robinson was also visibly tired only halfway through the fight.
Looks like the former champ is putting on a desperation attempt to knock out Jones.
It didn't look like Robinson was going to get his middleweight title back.
Round 9 is over, and there is a very tired Sugar Ray Robinson, who was stung and stung plenty in the last 30 seconds of the round.
Winner by unanimous decision, Ralph Tiger Jones.
Ralph Tiger Jones upsetting the dope bucket entirely and stopping the comeback momentarily of Sugar Ray Robinson. What his plans are, we do not know. Remember, That is only the 4th loss in the entire career of Sugar Ray Robinson out of 139 fights. And as I'm sure you'll agree, as they say on the boxing beat, he lost this one pretty good tonight.
Robinson had a really tough fight against Castellani next. Again, Sugar was still able to show flashes of his old magic.
A jolting left by Castellani, and Robinson goes down. The referee picks up the count.
But in the 6th round, Sugar was caught with a huge left hook to the point of the chin and dropped.
Ray is up at the count of 8. A shocking surprise here in round 6. Castellani is all over the former middleweight champion.
Sugar shows great survival skills here to avoid shots, tie his man up, and recover quickly.
Ray comes right back. If Ray wins tonight, he'll get a crack at Bobo Olson's middleweight title. Furious punches by Ray Robinson here in round 8.
There was a lot of action in the fight, and I thought Robinson was the guy who won more rounds than he got the deserved decision.
Former heavyweight champion of the world, Gene Tunney, is shown here destroying Georges Carpentier in 1924. Tunney, a magnificent ring general, now 80 years old, remarked that Ray Robinson was perhaps the finest boxer he had ever seen.
Sugar got his chance to fight for his old title against Bobo Olson. After taking some criticism for his comeback performances, Sugar came into the fight as an underdog.
He's faced Sugar Ray. On both previous occasions, Robinson beat him.
And working to Robinson's body, trying to wear the older man down. Olson's only 28, Robinson's over 35. And a tremendous left hook there from Robinson, and Olson's down on his back again, very much like in the last fight. The referee takes up the count, and he's not going to make it again. It's all over. Robinson's the winner. And here's the knockdown in slow motion. A fantastic left hook clips Olson, and down he goes.
Robinson was once again the middleweight king. I thought this was a special performance by Robinson. A really great fighter turning the clock back at an advanced age is truly admirable. A lot of people say Gene Fulmer was a dirty fighter. Personally, I would describe him as a filthy fighter. Be that as it may, I think Gene would likely be able to simply walk down many champions. In this fight, Robinson had his work cut out against the naturally bigger and younger man. Notice Fulmer rushing in with his head and then throwing illegal rabbit punches. These tactics aren't bad by Fulmer if he can get away with them. Rush in dangerously with the head and then bang Robinson in the back of the head in close.
Of Ray Robinson. We see Ray Robinson coming with that uppercut, but it's not effective. These shots have got to take a toll, and referee Ruby Goldstein is not saying anything about hitting behind the ear at all.
Robinson has some patchy success with his combinations.
See, opening up like this, there's a real good left hand and then the right. Robinson will show from time to time in the legs and the quick hands and the real slick boxing ability. So with these contrasting styles, oh, the left hook gets thrown. Nice job that time by the champion.
But at this stage of his career, he didn't have the legs he used to have.
Now the double jab, the right hand catches the challenger. You see what happens though immediately when Ray Robinson ties him up. When Ray was 25 years old, you wouldn't see him tying men up this much. At 35, he has to. Still a brilliant fighter. But the 25 to 30-year-old Robinson could do that side-to-side movement all night long. The head. Now this becomes a difficult round to score because Robinson landed some nice shots. You see that uppercut inside? Robinson can still do it.
Sugar landed a nice counter uppercut in round 6, but somehow the referee and ringside officials scored this a knockdown for Fulmer.
A long looping shot, and it looked almost like Robinson slipped there at the end. But I saw referee looking at Arthur McCanty, and they have scored a knockdown.
I think this was just a fight with poor officiating. In the 7th round, another bad call goes against Robinson, and he has another knockdown scored against him.
That one will be scored. You hear Arthur McCanty doing the counting, and it's up to 6 and 7. He went through the rope. Again, a problem with that lower rope, but that one will be a knockdown for sure.
Robinson responded by opening up, but ultimately Robinson didn't open up enough, and I think he was just a shop-worn fighter at this point, despite still being able to perform at world level.
And now we've got a war on our hands. Robinson doesn't like being pushed down and doesn't like being pushed through the rope. Robinson short with a jab. You get the idea that when Robinson wants to open up, he can land shots, but he's just not busy enough. And he needs to get busy real soon. He's fighting a fighter that's never been knocked out. And so far, the power of Ray Robinson, you get the idea he's not going to knock out Gene Fulmer. He will have to win on the scorecard. And if that's the case, he better start picking up the pace. And a man at age 35 with over 140 fights cannot do the things at 35 that he could do at 25. This is a good fight. It's been a hard fight. It's been a lot like this a lot of the way. Decent fighter out of this fight. It's championship time, and Fulmer wants the title. Ray Robinson says you're not going to take it as he stays up on his toes, goes out with the left hand. The round is coming to an end, and the champion wants to keep his title. Has he done enough? I don't know.
And the new middleweight champion of the world, Gene Fulmer.
Fulmer got the victory and took Robinson's title.
Nonetheless, a terrific fight for Gene Fulmer, and I don't know what that means for the career of the great Sugar Ray Robinson.
The former world's welterweight and middleweight champion, Sugar Ray Robinson.
In his next fight, Robinson rematched Fulmer for the title, and Sugar was able to roll back the clock. I thought this low blow by Fulmer was ridiculous.
Along the line here, Sugar Ray is going to have to go for it, and he's trying to pick his spot very carefully to get that first important punch away. A warning to Gene Fulmer to keep his punches up.
He leaped in with a left hook below the belt.
Seconds left, Sugar Ray grimacing on the low blow and indicating to Fulmer that it really landed low.
I noticed Robinson was really getting a lot of power into his shots in this fight.
Good right hand shot to the jaw of Fulmer. This may have been what Robinson was waiting for. He clamps down on Gene, moves away.
He wanted to make sure he got Fulmer's respect.
A smacking right hand landed by Sugar Ray Robinson to the ribs of Gene Fulmer. And Sugar Ray drops Gene Fulmer. 4, 5, listen to this crowd. 7, 8, 9, 10. He is done. And don't go away. We'll have another 4-round bout coming up in just a moment.
Robinson threw 2 very hard body shots, and his patented left hook ended the night for the granite chin Fulmer. I think that this punch is perhaps the greatest punch ever thrown in a boxing ring. It was also 2 days from Sugar's 37th birthday. He's way past his best, and he's still capable of producing magical moments in the ring. In his prime, Sugar was destroying opponents with masterful hooks like this.
Winner by a knockout and new world's middleweight champion, Sugar Ray Robinson.
Sugar Ray bangs it in. You've done it again. And it's a completely remarkable fight. Can you tell me how that punch was set up?
Jack, before I say anything, I'd like to say from the very, very bottom of my heart, ladies and gentlemen, fans of mine who offered their prayers in my behalf, I want you to know from the bottom of my heart, it was your prayers that enabled me to be successful tonight. This victory belongs to you and your faith in me and your faith in God. I thank you. I want to thank my mother who's looking in, and Reverend Johnson and Mother Howard, all of those who offered their prayers for my success. And Du Bois, I'll be waiting for you on the first tee.
All right, Sugar Ray, you've got a lot of demands on you for pictures. Get with the posing. Tell me, what was the punch that nailed him?
Left hook.
A left hook, countering as he came in, and beautifully thrown. Congratulations, Sugar Ray Robinson.
I thought he was a great fighter. A great fighter. I loved his combinations and his speed. The way he operated. I admired the way Sugar Ray Robinson threw his combinations. I have never seen, of all the champions I have viewed, I have never seen a champion quite as determined as he. I have never seen a fighter throw punches so short that does so much damage. The 6-inch punch. And till this day, I've never seen anyone like him.
Former heavyweight champion Jack Sharkey, seen here in 1927, bombs out the rugged Jimmy Maloney. Here's Jack Sharkey today.
One of the finest of my era. Of course, the other guys in my era before me were rough, tough, murderous punchers, you know, like street fighting type. I think Ronald Robinson was the epitome of a boxing master similar to Benny Leonard. Only Benny couldn't punch, but Robinson could punch. See, there's a difference. He's a combination boxer-puncher. He's a great fighter. Great fighter. Great fighter.
Middleweight King, Sugar Ray Robinson.
By the time Robinson fought Carmine Basilio, he was definitely on the other side of the mountain going into the valley.
These two men are masters at their trade.
He was past his prime.
Here's a nice close-up. Robinson stinging in those jabs, Basilio trying to get in close with those wicked hooks.
It was his 149th pro fight. The losses were happening more often. I think most boxing experts would agree that Basilio would have been an easy KO for Prime Robinson though. In this fight, Basilio was constantly the aggressor and was having success, but Sugar was effectively working off the back foot.
Basilio still has that patch over his left eye. Notice how he continues to force the fight, although just a little bit slower. And Robinson, watching like a hawk, always looking for that split-second opening, eager to uncork his combinations.
I thought it was a close fight. A lot of Basilio's work was eye-catching, but I thought Sugar was landing good jabs on the outside for a lot of the fight.
Basilio has him on the ropes. 30 seconds left in the round.
Basilio was able to get inside and do good work to the body and head. Sugar landed some good shots in return. We see glimpses of Prime Robinson with some nice work like this, but at this stage of his career, he was basically an old man in boxing terms. He couldn't sustain his attacks and didn't have the athleticism of old. Notice this beautiful crisp left hook by Robinson here, which really hurts Basilio. It was so fast that it was hard to see in real time.
Sugar Ray, sharpest shooting puncher of the modern ring, and
I thought another left hook really hurt Basilio here.
the round is nearly over. It's time for Robinson to stage his last-minute flurry.
I have to give Basilio credit for his head movement though. One thing about Robinson, he was able to pace himself and up his pace near the end of the rounds as he knew the judges would remember those last-minute flurries. I agreed with the referee, who scored the fight for Robinson.
Referee Al Burl scores it 9-6, Robinson. The other judge, Bill Recht, scores it 8-6, 1 even. The winner and new middleweight champion of the world,
but Basilio got the split decision win.
Sugar Ray Robinson, the incomparable Sugar Ray, who won the middleweight championship of the world 4 times. He's here. Ray, I've never seen you look better and stronger.
Thank you, Chris. I don't know about better, but I feel good.
You gave him quite a bit of punishment, 15 rounds the last time you met. How can a person stand up under that?
Evidently, you'll have to ask him. I was thinking the same thing, but evidently I didn't give him enough to sway the judges and the referee. I had 15 rounds the last time to go to school with Basilio. And I hope if I've done my homework properly here in camp, I hope for him to be somewhere along the line to get the message.
Ray, when fight time approaches, let's say the night before the title bout, what goes through your mind?
Well, I'll tell you. Usually what goes through my mind is what's going to happen the next night. Very happy to get it over with. Of course, Chris, I've been boxing as long as I have. A fight is a fight. That's a part of your job. You know, like going to work. Made a better man in very big choices.
Champ, the greatest welterweight champ and the greatest middleweight champ. As you go back to trying to get the 5th middleweight title, the best of luck.
Thank you, Chris. And if there's anyone who has trouble getting a good seat, they can have mine.
Sugar Ray Robinson seeking to regain the crown he lost 6 months before, attempting to win the world title for the 5th time.
In the rematch, Robinson came in much more prepared. Robinson was a cerebral fighter and he always did better in rematches.
Sugar Ray trying to drive those hard jabs to the body and face.
I thought Robinson really focused on landing the jab from the outside in this rematch. Notice these nice short left hooks inside from Robinson. In his prime, he was a vicious inside fighter when he wanted to be.
Just look at that bulging left eye of Carmen Basilio's. By now, he's really in trouble.
By the 6th round, Basilio's eyes were almost swollen shut. There was some good action in the rest of the fight. But at the end, I felt Robinson was just a step ahead and he won the fight very wide on my card.
72 points, Sugar Ray Robinson. 64, Carmen Basilio, the winner and the new world's middleweight champion, Sugar Ray Robinson.
Every bone, over 100 of them all over my body. Feel like 10 men beat me up last night.
Ray, after the fight last night, Carmen said he could have gone 15 more rounds. How did you feel after 15?
Well, I'll say this. If he could have went 15 more, he wouldn't have won them with me.
Ray, what did you do differently this time that you apparently didn't do in September?
I won the middleweight championship of the world.
Sugar, what would you like to do most right now?
Go home and play with my son and stay home and let my wife baby me.
Ray says he wants to be babied. What do you plan to do about that?
As much as I can and as often as I can.
Cook his favorite food?
Of course. The best food, the best of everything for this sugar daddy.
Did you notice how great Robinson looked in the early rounds? Just like the Robinson of old. Classic boxer, and in little Carmen Basilio, he fought the roughest guy in the division in the last 20 years. It was just a great fight, a natural, the boxer against a slugger, you know, like Dempsey and Tunney. Robinson, in the twilight of his career, fought his greatest fight He had to plan every move. His great experience won him this fight, and probably his last great fight.
Do you think there is a probability of a Sugar Ray Robinson-Floyd Patterson fight in the future?
Well, I've been approached about such a match, but I feel I have one attitude toward this match. If Ray Robinson is considering committing suicide, I don't want him to use Floyd Patterson as the vehicle. That's the way I feel about it.
In other words, you think for Floyd it might be somewhat of a pushover?
Well, to pull it mildly.
I think the last time I saw you, you were fighting Bob Olson out here.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, we want to welcome you to Los Angeles again, and I know most fans are interested right now in that big offer that broke the other day, that $1 million offer for you to fight heavyweight champion Floyd Patterson. Have you got any comment on that?
Well, I'm here to see Mr. Weintraub about the proposition. We're going to try to complete negotiations while I'm here. See just what we can do.
All plans for the super fight of champions evaporate when Sweden's Ingemar Johansson, in black trunks, wins the heavyweight title from Patterson. In later years, Johansson gives his impressions of Sugar Ray.
Well, Sugar Ray Robinson, I have seen several times, and he's about the best boxer I ever seen. He was everything. He was fast. He had a good left hand, and the way he was moving in the fight was absolutely enormous. And you know, he liked when he could clinch the guys up to the ropes, and every punch he threw away was a knockout punch. You know.
Robinson fought Bostonian Paul Pender next. Sugar Ray coming to town was always a major event. I thought Robinson got robbed in this fight. Robinson, now a 5-time middleweight champion, had been out of the ring for 22 months. I thought Robinson won the fight pretty clearly, but Pender got the decision.
Still middleweight champion, Pender.
I think this was as close to a robbery as it gets.
The challenger, Sugar Ray Robinson.
Oh. Robinson in white, Pender in black, and they collapse out on the apron.
At the age of 40, Robinson tried to regain the middleweight title from Pender in a rematch. I thought he also won the rematch. The fight was scrappy and it ended up being a split decision.
For the still middleweight champion, Pender.
Pender got the decision and Robinson would never get the middleweight title back again. I thought Robinson got robbed in this third fight with Gene Fulmer.
Fighter. Probably wondering himself if he can roll back the years.
This was a pretty bad decision.
Big round for Robinson, round 4.
Robinson clearly boxed his ears off.
Round 7, half over. You'll notice that Robinson is fighting in flurries now.
Robinson was probably fighting at about 20% of the fighter he was in his prime at this point.
The best punch of the fight by Robinson. Now let's see the effect on Fulmer. Here's Victor. Were hurt that time.
Tommy Hart scores it 11-4 in favor of Sugar Ray Robinson.
In the end, they agreed that the judge who scored it 11 rounds to 4 in favor of Robinson, and Robinson's attempt to become a 6-time middleweight champ was robbed from him.
Fulmer, a draw, still the champion,
draw decision here. Boys, I need both of you. Get them over to the microphone. I'm going to have to interview both of them on a draw decision. Gene Fulmer retains his title here in the Los Angeles Sports Arena. Gene, how do you feel about it now?
Robinson would fight on for 5 more years, but he was well past his best. I'll cover those fights in a future video. I think the reason Robinson is perhaps the greatest fighter of all time is because he didn't lack anything. I would describe Robinson as an artist. The accuracy of his punches was incredible. He could also take a punch extremely well. His record, particularly in the first stage of his career, was astonishing. In his 137 fights before he retired in 1952, he lost only 3 times, and 2 of those were against opponents with at least a 15-pound weight advantage over him. He avenged the first defeat against Lamotta 4 times. He fought more world champions in his career than any other opponent. Robinson is one of the few guys where all of the hype you hear about him is true. He really was that good.
I became a boxer when I was very young, like these kids here, children. I wanted to be like Joe Louis, and I used to carry his bag for him to the gymnasium.
Were you ever afraid on the ring for a fight?
No, I was never afraid on the ring. I was mostly afraid of my mother when she found out that I was fighting.
Are you happy? Of your life?
Oh, yeah. Oh, if I could live my life over again, I would not change anything.